Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. For today's creation I made some awesome Fortnite weapons and tools. It includes loot chests, gliders, working guns and much more. I had a lot of people suggest this, so I thought I'd give it a shot. You can even download this creation and use it in your own world. At the timestamp that you can see on screen now, I explain exactly how to install this creation. So if you need any help, please watch that part of the video. Before we start though, a quick trigger warning. I've never actually played Fortnite myself, so some of the weapons are not accurate to the original game and are adapted to fit into Minecraft. But with that out of the way, let's have a look at what I came up with. You might ask yourself how you can obtain all the different items. The answer is loot chests. To craft one, place an iron block on the ground and throw a nether star on top of it. Then right click the chest and 3 random items will pop out. For all the impatient people out there, I made another option. Instead of an iron block, you can also place a diamond block on the ground. Once again, drop a nether star onto it, which will then create a golden loot chest. The difference between the two is that the golden one gives you one of each item instead of just 3. Let's begin with the most basic but essential item of them all, the glider. After jumping out of the battle bus, simply select the glider and you will slowly descend. While gliding, you can right click to move forward a lot faster. Watch out though, as soon as you unselect the item, you will fall to the ground at normal speed. So you can't use any other items while having your glider equipped. This is an awesome item for getting down from high places safely, and the glider model looks super cool too, I think. But you can only equip the glider after using a jump pad! Ree! What a very good point. Unfortunately, I don't care. But speaking of jump pads, they combo really well with the glider, and therefore I decided to implement them as well. Just drop the item onto the ground and it will be placed wherever it lands. Walking over it gives you a massive jump boost and allows you to reach platforms that you could otherwise never reach. Make sure you don't have your glider equipped when using the jump pad though, as that decreases your total jump height. To remove the jump pad again, simply destroy the block underneath it. A not completely unimportant aspect of Fortnite is killing things. So I decided to create 2 types of shooting weapons. The first one is a hand cannon. I modeled it after the original, but came up with my own weapon stats. It is a hit scan weapon with a range of about 30 blocks. It has a reload time of 1 second and does a lot of damage. Weak mobs like cows, sheep or chicken can be one shot, and stronger ones like skeletons or creepers take 2 hits to be killed. The only medium the bullets can travel in is air and grass. So if you try to shoot through walls, the bullet will be killed and won't damage anyone behind it. I even made sure this works for players too. So just grab some friends, provided that you have any, and have some fun with them. Before we get to the next item, a massive thank you to my current patrons and to my newest patron supporter Alex Benzi. I really appreciate your pledges and hope you enjoy all the sneak peeks I'm posting. The second weapon is a rocket launcher, which, as you might have expected, launches rockets. To use it, simply select the rocket launcher in your inventory and right click. The rockets have a range of about 50 blocks, and as soon as they collide with a block, they will cause a massive explosion. When aiming with this weapon, keep in mind that the rockets are affected by gravity and always travel downwards a slight bit. Probably my favorite item in this creation is the Impost grenade. It can be thrown to launch enemies away from the point of impact. The grenade itself does not damage players or mobs, but launching them off cliffs or out of cover is still super useful and fun. To use it, look into the direction you want to launch the grenade in and right click. As soon as it lands on the ground again, it will launch the closest entity away from it, as long as it is in a 2-block radius. The angle always depends on where the grenade lands. So if you want to launch an entity to the left, make sure the grenade lands on its right. This even works for yourself, so if you want to catapult yourself forwards, you can launch it at your feet, or to your side if you want to dodge an enemy, for example. One of the most fun challenges is launching a mob into the air using the impulse grenade and then trying to hit it mid-air with your hand cannon. It's super difficult, but extremely satisfying if you do land one of those shots. The next item is not very spectacular, but still pretty neat, I think. The bush is an item that allows you to camouflage and hide from enemies. Just select the item in your inventory and the bush will appear around your body. This is not really hidden, you might say. Well, correct, but as soon as you sneak, you will turn invisible, which makes it very hard to distinguish you from a real bush. Since I'm using a block model on the player's head, the lighting is sometimes a bit weird, and of course the bush can be rotated completely incorrectly. I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing though, because it makes it a bit of a challenge to blend in with your environment. To test this out, you can just define a certain area, hide somewhere in it, and then ask a friend to try and find you. Moving on to some more weapons. The so-called boogie bomb is thrown just like the impulse grenade, but any players inside the blast radius are forced to dance for 5 seconds. While they are dancing, they are unable to move and spin around in circles, severely confusing them. Once again, this works on mobs and players, even yourself, so make sure you don't launch it at your feet. Next off, we have the portal fort. Upon detonation, it generates a large structure that can be used as a fort. At the bottom of it, there is a door, and on the inside a ladder, so you can easily get up. You can even stack multiple of these forts on top of each other, or just spam them around randomly to create a giant mess. They are not only practical as hiding spots, but also combo really well with the launchpad and the glider to reach higher places. And in case you are too lazy to take the ladders, you can also just use some launchpads instead. And last but not least, there is the stink bomb. Right click to launch it, just like all the other grenades, and as it collides with a block, it poisons all the enemies nearby. And these were all the items I created. If that seems fun to play with to you, here's a quick tutorial on how to install this creation in your own world. Go to my website and download the zip file you'll find there. Unpack it, and in there you'll find a data pack called Fortnite. Copy it and paste it into the data packs folder of your world. If you don't know how to get there, just press Windows and R, type %@data%, go into .minecraft, saves, and then whatever your world is called. Now go back into .minecraft, open the resource packs folder, and paste the Fortnite pack into there. Finally, open your world, type /reload in chat, and activate the resource pack. If you are on a Mac, just look up a tutorial on how to access your .minecraft folder. There are plenty of resources online. Before I end this video, I'd like to give you a small technical background behind the Impost grenade, as it perfectly demonstrates the power of local coordinates and facing teleportation. When you right click to launch the grenade, the system summons an armor stand and then does a bunch of calculations to give the armor stand motion into the direction you're looking in. Shout out to my boy Nopename who provided this piece of code. I was too lazy to write it myself and just stole it from him. Now, as soon as the impulse grenade lands on the ground, I determine the closest entity and give it a tag. Now I summon another armor stand at the impact point, and using a facing teleportation, I make it look into the direction of the entity that should be affected. Next off, I teleport an armor stand to the entity without changing the rotation, then manually set its Y rotation, and finally launch it forward. As long as it is moving, I then teleport the affected entity to that armor stand. When it hits the ground again, the armor stand is killed and the entity can freely move around again. The only reason I need an armor stand for that, by the way, is because I wanted it to work for players as well, and we currently are unable to edit player data. And that's it for today's video. I really enjoyed working on this creation and I think it's a lot of fun to use it. I know I didn't completely recreate Fortnite, but just grab a couple of friends, some weapons and armor, and fight them using these tools. I think that could be really interesting and a very different experience from standard Minecraft PvP. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd be very happy about a positive rating, and if you're not subscribed already, feel free to do so if you want to see more command block creations like this. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.